Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Rosium, and in today's video we are going to be restocking some tailoring and restocking some enchanting, guys. We've been selling absolutely loads this week. We've made well over 50k, and I've just been honestly setting up loads of different garrisons on all of my ults, sending out my gold the second I make it. It's going really well, and I wanted to do a bit of a restock with you guys and just talk about some of the things that really sell well for me, and some of the things you guys should look into because they're probably going to really sell well for you, especially considering I'm on a super high pop realm, Silver Moon. It's the biggest realm on EU, so if I'm selling stuff pretty well here, then I guarantee you will sell similar stuff on your realms. So in this video, I really want to cover specifically things in enchanting and things in tailoring which sell super well on the auction house, especially on my server. So one of those things that sells just ridiculously well is deep sea bandages. It's really weird. Now each of these deep sea bandages I sell for 10 gold, and I try to keep let me have a look how many I keep on the auction house here. Deep sea bandages. Okay, so it looks to me like I try and keep about 100 to 200 on the auction house at all times, and as you can see, they sell stupidly well. So it's definitely worth building those because, you know, it only cost me about 4 gold. Let's have a look here. It says here it costs me 4 gold 50, but I know it costs me a little bit less than that because I always buy my deep sea satin at specific times when they've got like a load of basically on the auction house that are slightly lower. I do shopping scans for that every day, and when it's really low I just buy a load of it. So just doing that is a really good idea. You get about 5 gold profit per, and when you are thinking you're selling about 20 at a time, you see where I'm going with this day, you're getting 100 gold profit just for making some bandages. That's awesome. Also, you can sell different levels of bandages, so it's definitely worth checking those out because it might show like a really low profit scale. Like for example, let's go to here and let's just type in bandage. There we go, bandage is in, and you can see here deep sea bandage 5 gold. Someone would look at that and be like 5 gold's not enough. But think of it as you are making 200 of that item to sell, and when you sell a load of bandages all at once, because a lot of these people will buy tons of bandages all at once, then it's going to be really good for you. That's just a huge amount of gold that you could be making just from bandages. Tide spray linen bandages, they do sell. I don't make as many of those, but it's good enough gold, I guess, to do it. Antiseptic bandages, they seem to do really well, but the sell rate on those is a little bit low, so you do have to be careful of that. Heavy wind wool bandages definitely have a really good sell rate, but you just have to bear in mind that the actual profit there is really low, so only make those if you're getting them quite easily. The sumptuous fur, sorry, not the sumptuous fur, the wind. Uncanny gear. Now uncanny gear is my best seller by far across all of my professions in general. If you can make uncanny gear in any way, shape and form, do it because it is worth it. The reason uncanny gear sells so well is because basically people need to gear their ults up really quickly, and it's not even just for the gear, it's just for the item level. They're buying this gear from the auction house, so uncanny gear has a kind of a relatively high item level. I think it's item level 400, so that immediately allows the person that buys a ton of uncanny gear to get themselves straight into you know, certain dungeons, like higher level dungeons, mythic dungeons, raids and stuff like that. So it saves them a lot of time, in other words, and that's really good for them. So this stuff sells super well. Now what I would say is don't waste your time. Don't waste your time and just think, oh, I'm going to make 1 uncanny gear each. No, you want to be making at least 4 to 5 each of these, and the reason for that is you'll get different types of the uncanny gear, and that will in itself give you a lot more diversity for selling. And what I typically do is I spend 15,000 gold on enough materials to make about 600 to 800 tide spray linen braces, and then I just do a mass scrap session, and I scrap them all, get all my expulsum, and then I do all my uncanny crafting, and I basically craft as many as I can for each of the things, and then I sell it, and I always double my costs. Always, by far. It's super easy to double your costs with uncanny gear. And you just have to bear in mind it takes a little bit of a while to craft all the items. Little tip I would say if you're doing it is just click craft all and go have your lunch. Don't watch it. It takes too long to watch it and stuff like that. It's a bit annoying. Don't worry about the items. They will be emailed to you once your bags are full. And then when your bags are full, make sure you go download Easy Scrap and go straight over to the scrapper. And Easy Scrap will basically queue all of your Tide Spray linen braces. You just have to click scrap, 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 scrap. That's it. You don't actually have to like drag them in. That takes ages. So you can literally watch Netflix, listen to an audiobook, anything you like. So definitely worth making yourself a ton of the uncanny gear. Now I do just want to say, guys, if you are into kind of like reading or like listening to reviews or anything like that, feel free to go check out my second channel. It's called Bits, Bobs and Books. It's over on YouTube, and it's myself reviewing things, because I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of listening to audiobooks, I do a lot of watching TV and films, and I like to kind of analyze certain things on there. So if you are interested in that, please go check that out. I will be doing some World of Warcraft reviews for books at some point, so it might be up your street. Bags are a stupidly good seller, and it's definitely worth looking at with different bags that you can get. Now I haven't had much luck with deep sea bags, just because it's very saturated on my server, Silver Moon, and Silver Moon is so high populated that so many people are making these deep sea bags, so I can't really sell those very well at high profit. I tend to lose profit if I make those, so I don't. I stick to things that do make profit. Now, imbued silkweave bags, they sell really well. What you can do to get Blood of Sagesse is simply just look basically on the Legion. Let's close all that. So go to Broken Isles and simply just click certain areas, look at the world quests, see if they offer Blood of Sagesse, and if they do, then go and do those world quests. This can be just a nice little trick and tip to basically stock up on what you require. So some of these quests will basically give you Blood of Sagesse and some won't. So there's a Legion invasion here. This one here, Black Rook Holdings, gives you some Blood of Sagesse. And you can basically just keep doing things like that to get more. Oh, there we go. I like that. So I need to actually get that completed today. Always worth checking in Legion for the different recipes that you can do for world quests, because that will give you additional ranks to level up and get basically lesser materials required for certain crafted items, and that can give you a higher profit margin on certain items that do sell. Definitely worth checking those out and checking the sale rate on those items specifically. So yeah, as I say, I check these kind of every day, and if there's one that has a lot of Blood of Sagesse, I will go and get that done. Now, Hexweave bags, you guys probably already know from my previous raw gold farm videos. I make a lot of Hexweave bags. I make Hexweave bags on 8 different characters now. It will be 9 as of tonight when I get my my Shaman to level 90, and we'll start making Hexweave bags on him as well. Basically, what I do is I have all of my alts parked in my garrison, and every day they put more sumptuous fur into their tailoring garrison building, and that produces Hexweave cloth every day. Then I log into each of my alts every day just to craft some Hexweave cloth and get that cooldown done. And then every 4 or 5 days I make another Hexweave bag on each alt, and then eventually I can pump those through the auction house. I don't sell them unless they're a minimum of 700 gold. If they're at 700 gold, then I know I'm making a decent profit on that. So I sell a lot of Hexweave bags. I've currently got, how many in the bank have I got? I got 11 sitting in the guild vault, and I'm just waiting for the price on my server to go up. Someone's going to reset this at some point, and the second they do, I'm jumping straight on it. So at the moment, it's terrible. It's 478 gold. If I had enough gold right now, if I had like a spare 500k or something, I'll probably just buy every single bag here up to 899 and just reset it myself. But right now that's not something I'm really interested in doing, so I'm just gonna leave those into my guild bank and just let them collate. And when I've got like 100, I might consider at that point resetting and just selling, or waiting for a reset and then selling them at that point. You just have to keep an eye on that, and I check it once every day. Other bags are out there, like the Silkweave satchel. Let's have a look here. Satchel, where's the satchel? There it is. So this is a 0.3 sell rate, so that tells me you're going to sell a heck lot of these. Okay, guys? And you're going to get about a 46 gold profit on those. So satchels do really well as well, so definitely worth learning those from Legion. In terms of the other bags here, High Gel Expedition bag, this sells really well on my server. It is very, very saturated though, and it's hard to get more people to buy them because you get undercut pretty much immediately. Same for like the Ember Silk bag here, and the otherworldly bag. They are really good sellers though, so I definitely do suggest getting those and crafting them. As I say, each of these bags do have typically a pretty good sell rate. Frostweave bag, even look at 0.4, so that's selling tons of those. That's really, really nice. Just go through, make sure you've got your TSM set up and craft as many of those as possible. Another one of my really, really good sellers in tailoring is actual bolts themselves. So just literally type in bolt on your tailoring here, and you can just bring up anything that you can make, which will make a profit. So I type in here bolt, and I can see that bolt of wind wall is going to sell really well because that's a 0.18 sell chance, and I'm going to get 2 gold, 66 silver each. I'm selling 200 of those. That's awesome. Let's just work that out. So that we're looking at about 500 gold for selling 200 all at once, just there. So that's incredible. That I love that. Especially if you keep an eye on Windwall, you can buy it at a really good price, especially. And as I say, you just go through your entire section, you look at all your bolts, and you work out what sells well. It does take a little bit longer to make those, but once they're made, you can just remake them as and when they're sold. And if you look here, if I do my restock right now, Enchanting Tailoring, let's have a look. Whoa, okay, right. Okay, so it's going to cost us 9,000 gold, purchase everything we need to do in order to craft, and we're going to get 24,000 gold profit on top, which is nice. I like that. That's what it says. It will be more than that because for some reason the profit values are always a little bit under what I actually get, like by about a few thousand. I'm reckoning I'll probably get 30,000 profit, but we'll see. We'll see about that. And that's usually because of I mess things up, like by buying cloth at a lower value than what it tells me I'm going to buy it at and stuff like that. Enchanted leather is a great seller. I sell so much of this enchanted leather. I'm so glad that I got the recipe for that. It is one of my best sellers. It's definitely worth doing. I sell about 200 at a time, and people just buy like 43 or things like that. It's really interesting. Oh, we just sold a hidden satire, and that is used in leveling. Whenever people level alts, they want Mark of Hidden Satire. It's really, really good. I've got to say, the Warlords of Draenor enchants, incredible. People purchase those like crazy. I sold 3 Tomb of Illusions the second I posted them this morning. It was fantastic. In fact, Tomb of Illusions is my best seller for all of my enchanting. Apparently it says that Tomb of Illusions sells the most often, and that's just fantastic. That's exactly what I want from this all. So we're going to be crafting everything right now and getting it ready for the auction. So as you guys can see with my crafting, I've got some bolts of Ember Silk cloth being crafted, and that's because when we look here at bolts of Ember, let's go down. So that gives me 4 gold, 80 silver each, and I sell 200 at a time. That's awesome gold. That gets me excited, guys. That's crazy gold. Okay, that's awesome. I'm so happy with that. And then we've got bolts of mage with deep sea bandages, bolts of wool cloth. You wouldn't believe how much money you can just make from these. Honestly, for tailors who just want to level up super quick, they just buy the bolts directly from the auction house. They do not pass go. They do not collect 200. They just go straight to the auction house, buy whatever they want, and you make tons of gold in the process. So I bought everything I need here, and it's looking really, really good actually. You can see I've got my flying carpets. I don't make a huge amount on flying carpets, but they are regular sellers. As you can see, it's 495 gold profit. That's what it's saying. It's usually a little bit less than that, to be honest, just because the sell rate isn't as not the sell rate, the sell value is a little bit less than 495. But they do still sell, and they still bring in a little bit of profit. I believe it's like 200 or 300 gold profit on those. My bags, obviously, they fly off the shelves. And one of the best things I sell in tailoring is powerful spell threads. So whether that's ghostly spell thread or enchanted spell thread, these are daily crafts, the dream cloth. So it's always worth maximizing the amount that if you haven't already, it's definitely worth picking up the tuxedo and the shadow weave recipes. So shadow weave mask is the only recipe you can get, and you get that from where is it now? The Black Rock. Not even a dungeon, it's just the dwarves. Okay, so it's actually here. So you're best to fly to Thorium Point, and then all you have to do is just fly around this area, killing all the dwarves, and the Shadow Weave Mask recipe will 100% drop. I know it drops because I've farmed this area before. It did take me 2.5 hours of farming, killing the dwarves for it to drop, but when it does drop, it gives you crazy good gold. So it's definitely one of my most profitable items out there. The Shadow Weave Mask, definitely worth getting that, guys. The tuxedo, you just buy that from the tailoring recipe, bend it in Iron Forge, and basically make all the tuxedo stuff. But just be warned, not all of them are profitable. It's definitely worth looking into those before you purchase them. So moving on to enchanting, as you guys can see, these are my main sellers. Enchanted leather is my probably best one. Second to best is Tomb of Illusions. You can get that in your Draenor garrison from simply just making the secrets of Draenor and basically purchasing that. Just bear in mind, secrets of Draenor can only be crafted once a day, so make sure you are doing it every single day in order to buy the recipe for your character. Once you've got all of them, I will assure you nearly every single one of those recipes sells really well at a profit and has a great sell rate. So enchanting is an amazing one to be making those secrets of Draenor enchanting for that, guys. So definitely worth getting those. Once that's done, you just gotta craft them all up and get them sold on the auction house. So before we actually do the post, I'm just gonna look at how much we've got on the auction house right now. It's saying we've got 453,000 gold. Okay, 453,000 gold currently on the auction house, and I just want to see how much is going to be on the auction house once this is all posted. Okay, now those are all ready to post. We're going to post them really quickly using the little macro in TSM. Let's get those posted. Okay, they're all on. And that's everything on apart from the Mark of Hidden Satyr, because someone's already got one on. That's a bit lower than the crafting cost, so we're not going to post that right now. So that brings us up to... So we were on 453,000 gold, and now we are on 487,000 gold, which basically means that it's 34k roughly there. 34k in crafting value. That's pretty amazing. I did say to you guys that the actual cost of what I'll be selling will be much higher than it predicts within TSM crafting. I don't know why it works like that, but it does, and it's probably me just buying things at a slightly lower rate and selling them at a really good rate. So it's just the way it is. So there you have it, guys. We've made tons of gold using this method, and I'd like to do a restock every day or two. I don't always do it every single day. It depends how much is sold. If I haven't sold very much, then I don't really worry about doing a restock straight away. What I do suggest is doing one post in the morning, and then just before bed, basically reposting everything. I only post things for 12 hours, and I like to do that just so I can make sure that I can undercut my competition. And if you do it just before bed, the majority of people have already gone to bed or have evening plans, so they just post it for 24 hours and they miss out on a load of sales. I don't. I always wake up in the morning to loads of gold because I have undercut everyone just before bed. Definitely worth doing that, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give that like button a little tickle. Give that subscribe button a big old smash, guys. We are so close to getting partnered here on YouTube. Honestly, I appreciate everyone who's just been subscribing, bringing love to the channel. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Thank you for that, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode of World of Warcraft. This is Erosium,